Okay, students, hello. This is a quick overview of our lesson 5, dealing with equations. I hope you're able to see the video on basic work with equations that that I encourage you to see if you need that. All right, we're going to do middle of the road, not that quick, not that long overview of this lesson 5. Okay, so you're on your table of contents on your desktop, and we're going to see, we're going to click on lesson 5. So over here in the middle, again, you have your advanced organizer. That's a graphic organizer. That's a fancy way of saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Your assignments, what you need to do as far as your major reading and your working the problems. Here's some more readings. We'll look at them in just a moment. There's a Khan video. Great work, those good people. Here's a little bit about applications, lesson 5 discussion. Again, I'll put some directions on there if you need it. If you want to put something on there, it's going to be like the others, so it's really no big deal. And then your quiz 5, okay? Remember, quiz 5 is opened on June the 11th, and it closes on the 17th, so please keep that in mind. All right, so here we go. We're just going to click on this right here. So again, the introduction, we're talking about equations. Equations with one variable are linear equations. Your goals, your outcomes, determine if an equation is linear or not. Find the solution. Determine if it's an identity. Go back to that video. That one also on determine if equation has no solution. I explained that. Model real-world problems using linear equations. That is a very basic, important college algebra skill. You get that down, and you've accomplished something. All right, so here's your task list. Complete your readings, do your assignment problems. Now, you may have possibly heard me say this before, but if you want to retain the concept and you want to have the skill as part of your life that you could build on, you got to do some problems. Your discussion posts and your quiz, so we just talked about that. Now, notice how I do this. I scroll up, and then I'll click on this to go to the other items. We have all made mistakes by going other places and doing work and realizing it wasn't related to that particular lesson. So keep that in mind. All right, so here's assignments, lesson 5. Let's click on that. Again, you have your readings, and right here, finding linear equations. Then you have your assignments. Let's take a moment, a brief moment if you would, and look at that part of the textbook. You got to love the textbook. Okay, you have to love that you don't have to spend $200 like many students do to buy a textbook. All right, so here are your goals. Use the properties to solve equations. Now, the fractions with equations is important, and then setting up applications. Now, this particular lesson, hold on a second. This particular lesson is explained very well. But just hard to improve upon it. Nothing is perfect, folks. No perfect guarantees in this life. Okay, but very good job. Sometimes it helps to see some of these problems done. This is about as close as you could do. This is variables on both sides. You got a problem there. Parentheses, you're going to use the distributive property. It's not a big deal. Take your time with it till you get it down. If you are worried and you are hitting the wall, you need to contact me. An identity is where you have an equation that's true for all of its values. Okay, notice example 9, 26 is equal to 6. That is never true, so that would be no solution. Here's 0 equal to 0. That would be all real answers. Okay, there's a -9 answer right there. I'm just scrolling down. A little bit about looking at words in a word problem and knowing what they mean as far as mathematical operators. Okay. All right, his problems about percent. Okay, there you go. You got your takeaways. I really do like that. And then you have your problems here. Now, let's scroll up, get out of that, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so we were just looking at assignments here. Now here's some other readings. Linear equations, solving linear equations, equations leading to linear form. Again, this one very straightforward, step by step. This one very straightforward, step by step. Let me click on this one for a moment. So now we have a problem that is like a rational expression. How are we going to solve that problem? Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's this one's more complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. I'm going to show you how to do this problem right now. Okay, I'm going to get the hang of it one of these days. Now here's this problem right here. If you look at the basic video, I've showed you a couple ways to do this. I'm going to do this in a way that I think overall makes the most sense. Now notice over here, that's a difference of two squares. So that denominator is really that denominator. Now the question is, what is the common denominator for the entire equation? And that would be an x minus 1 factor and an x plus 1 factor. Now what I'm going to do, x minus 1, x plus 1. I am in essence multiplying both sides by these two factors. If I multiply this side by those two factors, that bottom would cross out with this one, and I would be left with x plus 1 times 1, which is x plus 1. Minus, now be careful with those minus signs. All right, look over here. If I multiply these two factors by that factor, these two guys right here would wipe out, and then I'd be left with this. So I'm going to say x minus 1. Now I'm going to put my minus 1 times x minus 1 equals, now obviously I rewrote this as that, so I'm just crossing that out. These two denominators times those two factors, they all play wipeout, and so they would all like wipe out. Okay, so I'm just left with 2. See how easier that is? Now let's take a moment here and finish that problem. That would be minus x plus 1 is equal to 2. X minus x is 0. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is equal to 2. Now, students, the question is simply this. Is that one solution, no solution, or many solutions? Well, how often is 2 equal to 2? Always. So all real, or that symbol, which stands for all real. Okay, so if we go back to your textbook, they worked this out a little longhand, but notice they got 2 is equal to 2. And that would mean what? That would mean all real. But there are some exceptions. It can't be 1 and it can't be negative 1. So x cannot equal 1, x cannot equal negative 1. Remember, you can't have 0 at the bottom. Now, notice this problem right here. You could find the common denominator, or you could cross multiply. Watch how I do this problem. Okay, so we're looking at this problem. Now, keep in mind, x cannot equal 3. X cannot equal to 2. Not in my original problem. Now, hold the phone here for a second. 5 over 10 equals 1 over 2, right? Can I cross multiply? That's 10 is equal to 10. Is that true? Yes. That is a method you could use. Now, you just got to keep working your math, and you got to pay attention to what you're doing. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to cross multiply. Let's cross multiply these. That will give us a difference of 2 squares, x squared minus 9. Let's multiply these two. That will give you a difference of 2 squared. That would be x squared minus 4. Now look, we got variables on both sides. It's not a linear equation, but if we drop the variables out, we have what? Negative 9 is equal to negative 4. Is that true? That's like football player 37 going on the field and coming off the same guy with the number 4. That doesn't make any sense. So no solution, okay? Or the Greek letter phi. Keep that in mind. Okay, so here we go. Notice your authors multiplied both sides by the common denominator. They got this, and therefore no solution to this equation. That takes care of that. I'm scrolling back up. Lesson 5 material. Alright, so here we go. Watch the video, please. That guy's really good. I'd say almost as good as me. I'm just kidding. Alright, some applications here. I think we need to take a moment and look at this. So here's an example where you're trying to figure out the value of an exam in order to have a certain average. Now remember the steps. You got to read it, you got to get the facts out, you have to you get an equation, then solve the equation. So here you go. Here's the equation you end up with, and notice it's a equation with a fraction. Solve the equation. Here's something regarding sales tax. You remember the rate times the amount of money will give you the tax. So you're solving that equation. Here's a question about motion. Rate times time is equal to distance. A plane is flying from Atlanta to Portland. A distance of blah. After 1.5 hours, the plane flies over Kansas City. Blah. Estimate the time. Well, rate times time is equal to distance. And so the distance divided by the time would give me the rate. And notice I got to travel the rest of the 2,700 miles. There's my rate times my distance. There are different ways of working that problem. A rectangle is twice as long as it is wide. So if the width is W, then the length would be 2W. Does that make sense? Here's a formula. Math is big about formulas. Understand the formulas and know how to work. Very, very important. And there are more than one way to set up this problem and work it out, but there you go right there. 2L plus 2W is equal to the perimeter. They gave you the perimeter. The length is twice the width, so I did that substitution. Okay, an algebraic substitution. Lo and behold, 6W is equal to 84. W is 14. Check it out and see if that gives you a good answer. That's a good way to do that. All right, and let's see. Okay, so we're scrolling down through here. Don't forget the discussion. There's my basic video for you there. I'll put some more there as far as directions. Quiz 5, get it done. I wish you well. Keep moving forward, folks. And as always, best wishes on your good work. And stay positive. Get a tutor if you need help. See me during my office hours. Keep up with my emails. Try to be positive. You're doing a great job, and I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself too. Thank you very much. And don't forget your week 2 check-in. Okay, take care of that. Thanks.